Hello and welcome. Today we're going to dive into a pretty fascinating psychological theory about what really makes someone attractive. And trust me, it's probably not what you think.
So let me ask you, what truly makes someone attractive? I mean, we all have those go-to answers that pop into our heads, right? But what if those usual suspects, the money, the looks, the charisma, are actually missing the most important piece of the puzzle?
All right, so in this first part, we're going to tackle those common ideas head on. And then we're going to introduce a totally different way of thinking about attraction.
Yeah, the source material we're looking at is really clear on this. The people who are most attractive aren't always the richest or the best looking. Attraction isn't really about your bank account or using some tired old pickup line. It's about a very specific communication skill.
And that skill is what this theory calls direct emotional communication. It sounds kind of academic, I know, but it's really just about cutting through all the superficial small talk and speaking with an authenticity that creates a real, genuine emotional response in someone.
So, how does this actually work? Well, believe it or not, this entire theory is built around just two simple but incredibly powerful words. Let's break them down.
And what's really interesting is how the source describes these. They aren't just words, they're more like keys that unlock a much deeper level of emotional connection.
Okay, so what do you think the first word is? It starts with I, and it's all about projecting leadership and being super clear. Any guesses?
The first word is want. Now, I know it might sound a little bold, maybe even a bit aggressive, but the psychology here is that saying I want with confidence signals that you are decisive, that you're not afraid to go after what you desire.
And the second word? This is the one that provides the crucial balance. It moves the conversation from just being about desire to being about a genuine connection.
And that second word is appreciate. This is what takes the whole interaction to another level, adding that emotional depth and sincerity.
So let's see how these two words build on each other. We'll start by digging a little deeper into I want and why it's considered so magnetic.
And wow, this slide just perfectly illustrates the difference, doesn't it? That hesitant language on the left gives off this vibe of insecurity, right? Like you're waiting for permission. But the assertive language, that's about leading. It's not pushy, it's just clear and confident. The source actually explains this effect with a concept called sexual polarity. The idea is pretty simple, that assertive, leading kind of energy naturally attracts a responsive, more feminine energy. It creates this powerful dynamic. Think of it like two sides of a magnet. It's this energetic pull that people are said to respond to on a totally subconscious level.
But here's the thing. I want all by itself could easily come across as self-centered. And that's exactly why that second word comes in, to create the perfect balance.
This quote from the source really hits the nail on the head. When you combine desire with appreciation, the whole focus shifts. It becomes about seeing and valuing the other person for who they actually are.
So the reason I appreciate works so well is that it taps into something much deeper. You're not just complimenting their looks, you're showing that you value their mind, their personality, their whole essence. That sincerity makes the other person feel genuinely chosen and, most importantly, seen.
This combination activates what the source calls positive emotional anchoring. Think of it like this. You're creating a positive memory that links you to the powerful feelings of being both desired and valued. It becomes a psychological anchor. So every time they think of you, they subconsciously remember that amazing feeling.
All right, now for the secret ingredient, the thing that makes this entire framework actually work. See, it's not enough to just say the words. You have to truly embody them.
That secret is congruence. It's when your verbal and nonverbal communication are in perfect sync. The source argues that women are incredibly sensitive to incongruences. If your body is telling a different story than your words, the whole message will completely fail.
And just look at this breakdown. Saying I want while you're all slumped over and insecure, it signals the exact opposite of confidence. But saying it while standing tall with a clear voice, that's authentic. Same thing with I appreciate. If you rush it with a generic tone, it feels empty. But a slower, sincere delivery, that feels real.
So putting it all together means mastering these three keys. You got to use the words strategically, not just randomly. You have to time them for moments of real emotional connection. And finally, you have to calibrate your presence so your energy is totally aligned with what you're saying.
And this is so important. This isn't a script you're supposed to memorize. It's about cultivating an authentic energy, a vibe that communicates confidence and appreciation without you even having to think about it. So, to recap everything, this whole theory rests on three core pillars. You have the words themselves, I want and I appreciate. You have the balance they create between confident leadership and genuine depth. And then you have the glue that holds it all together, the congruence of your delivery.
And that leaves us with a final thought to chew on. Beyond just attraction, how much of all of our communication depends not on finding the perfect words, but on the authenticity and alignment we bring to the words we choose to say?